Hi, I know you landed here looking for something around skill development and you got interested in this topic of friendship with skill development. So you must be wondering what is the connection friendship और skill development में क्या relationship है? आखिर friendship और skill development में क्या relationship है? Indeed there is. Let's dive into friendship. So can you think of a time when you became friends with somebody? So how did that friendship happen? So I'm sure friendship did not happen overnight. It started off with a meeting and then evolved into a beautiful relationship over a period of time. It did not happen in a single instance, isn't it? तो आपको याद होगा when you joined a new school, a new college, or maybe when you switched jobs or moved to a new city or a new apartment, new neighbors, so all these places, what was common was that you came across new people, you found a common ground, common interest between people. At first you spoke to a lot of people and then identified a few of them with whom you shared some common ground. Like let's say you're from the same industry or same interests or same hobby, something like that. And then gradually you started meeting more often and then it evolved into a beautiful friendship. So typically friendships develop over time. Consistent interaction and spending time together allows people to become more comfortable with each other so that they can deepen their connection. So just watch this clip.
ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे.
Now coming to the crux of the discussion, what is the connection between friendship and skill development? Why am I again and again talking about friendship when you have come here to listen about skill development and to get employable or maybe and speak better English and become more productive at your workplace? So did you know that your brain is made up of billions of neurons and these neurons are supposed to interact with each other? मतलब इनके बीच में एक गहरी दोस्ती होनी चाहिए. When these neurons start interacting more and more often with each other and start communicating with each other, the bond of friendship develops over time. So this bond of friendship between neurons in your brain is called synapses. You must strengthen the bond of friendship between these neurons so as to master any kind of new skill sets. So, how do you do that? I'll take you through a term called long term potentiation. It's called LTP, long term potentiation. Don't get too bogged down with the scientific terminology here. We will simplify it as much as possible. So, during LTP within the brain, the connections between neurons heighten their receptivity to signals, rendering them more prone to activation. मतलब इसका सिंपल में मतलब ये है कि जितना आप इंटरेक्ट करवाओगे अपने न्यूरॉन्स को एक दूसरे के साथ, there is a chance that it gets more and more activated, and over a period of time it becomes stronger. So LTP represents one of those pivotal processes underpinning synaptic plasticity at pre-existing neural junctions. So दो चीजें हैं इसमें. One is about creating newer connections, which happens when you start doing newer activities, trying out something new apart from what you've been doing routinely. So we will come to that. That is one part. And the second part is about strengthening what you're already doing. So this is the second part. So specifically, we are talking about fortification of the existing link between two brain cells and facilitating mutual stimulation upon activation. This mechanism stands as a cornerstone in our acquisition of new knowledge and skills. So let's see how to master the skill by strengthening this friendship, this bond between two neurons, and learning a new skill. So let's take an example of maybe improving your communication skills, becoming more productive in your office by communicating better with stakeholders. So how can we do that using our synaptic connections within the cerebellum specifically? People tend to be drawn to others who share similar interests, values, and beliefs. So, common ground, as I said earlier, provides a strong foundation for friendship as it fosters mutual understanding and relatability. So, friendships often begin with some kind of mutual act of kindness or assistance. When people help each other or offer support, it creates a sense of reciprocity and trust, which can lead to deeper connections. Similarly, when two neurons in your brain repeatedly synchronize their firing, they become sensitized. and more receptive to each other's prompts. It's like one neuron saying hi, hi, and the other neuron also saying hi. So this happens periodically, and over a period of time, these two neurons become closer and closer and have built a stronger bond of friendship. So, as synapses undergo reinforcement, the signals traversing them accelerate and become more pinpointed. So, ज़्यादा focus होता है. What I mean to say is that, let's say you are focusing on a particular skill of speaking better and you practice this day in and out. So, there is more focus between these two neurons on strengthening this friendship so that you are able to communicate better over a period of time. So, how do you pick new skills and strengthen the friendship between neurons? Remember the two things that I said, the two objectives. One is to pick up new skill sets, and second is to obviously strengthen whatever you have. So, to learn a new skill, you must first of all move out of your comfort zone. Get comfortable becoming uncomfortable. The best way to start is to do routine work differently. For example, if you are going to work through a specific route, change the route and take a different route once in a while. Okay. If you're going to college or taking a particular route, change the route. If you brush with your right hand, try brushing with your left hand for a change. So when you take a new route or use a non-dominant hand to do routine activities, your brain must engage more actively. It must process this new information. तो पहले तो ब्रेन को आदत हो गया था कि you will always use your right hand to brush or you will take a specific route to reach your office. So it will automatically direct you there. But when you're trying to take a new route or use your left hand to brush or so on, so your brain is now trying to adjust to this particular change and it develops new synaptic connections to learn this new behavior. So this heightened cognitive engagement is conducive to learning and skill acquisition. By moving out of your comfort zone and doing routine tasks differently, you introduce a level of challenge that stimulates the brain. So brain stimulation is very critical to learn a new skill. And then it has to be followed by repetitive practice for strengthening the connection. So this challenge triggers the brain to adapt and grow to meet the demands of the new situation. Okay. So one, you have built a new connection to learn a new skill, and then you're going to use the power of repetitive practice to strengthen that skill. So when we acquire a new knowledge or hone a skill, specialized neurons tasked with that function become engaged. They transmit electrical impulses across synapses, establishing a linkage. Initially, this connection is very fragile, akin to a delicate filament susceptible to rupture. However, with persistence, practice, and learning, a remarkable transformation unfolds. It's just like when you start going for a, let's say, a jog or a walk the first time. You are able to do maybe hardly a kilometer on day one, and you do 1 kilometer for next 15 days. Gradually, you move on and start doing 2 kilometers per day, and so on. You're gradually able to increase, strengthen, and develop more stamina. So this is exactly what you are doing even with your synaptic connections. So you're acquiring a new skill, so you're developing a new connection and then strengthening the connection with repetitive practice. The synapses connecting these neurons begin to undergo alterations and adjustments. They grow more robust and streamlined, akin to fortifying a muscle through rigorous training. So, greater the effort invested, the more formidable they become. So, to summarize, friendship is a very gradual journey. Just as friendships strengthen over time, so do the connections between neurons in our brains. Repetitive practice solidifies neural connections, making them more robust, much like strengthening a muscle through training. The more effort invested, the stronger these connections become, unlocking the brain's potential for learning and skill mastery.